Are you struggling to conceive? You have options, and at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group, we'll make sure you have the guidance and support you need. PREG is known for individualized fertility care that's unique to every patient. We take the time to provide a reassuring and empowering experience because we believe that you deserve nothing less. Let us help you on your journey to parenthood. Visit us at pregonline.com to learn more. Get the guidance and support you need at Piedmont Reproductive Endocrinology Group.
New on Curiosity Stream.
I'm James Burke. I'm going to take you on a journey through time.
James Burke's visionary series returns, reimagined for our time.
Now, this is all uncharted territory.
The Washington Post hails Burke as one of the most intriguing minds in the Western world. The New York Times raves he careens from one great moment in history to another.
Where do we want to go from here?
Experience all new connections.
So what's the next connection?
With monthly, annual, and bundled plans, find the one that works for you at curiositystream.com.
It's the pop culture field, man, welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Pop Culture Field, Man You Will. Sitting right at the intersection of weapons, action, the military, and pop culture. I am, and forever will be, Israel Wright, former Green Beret, and with me, as always, is...
Cameron Pfaff, former Army Ranger. That was great. That was a good one. I like that. They're getting better and better every episode. I think so.
We have to, I mean, I would hope they would be, because we've done this, dozens of times. This is episode 23.
To be, just under, almost 24 times.
A baker's 24.
A baker's 24.
I don't know. I think that's accurate, but.
Is it, what is a baker's dozen?
A baker's dozen 13, wasn't it? Yeah. So a dozen, but those bakers, they got the overachievers, man.
Yo, you odd numbers. You
want a dozen?
That.
I'll give you one more.
I thought baker's dozen would be like 11 because bakers are lazy. No offense to bakers, man. Actually, I love bakers. That should be an episode of just your favorite baked goods.
Yeah, like master bakers.
Yeah, master bakers. Yeah. And I'm a big fan of debaters, too.
Yeah, big debates. Master debates. Yeah, like a bunch of debates in one area. It's like a mass. Oh, yes. We're already out. There is no thread. There is no spoon.
No. But if you were curious about what we were going to be talking about today, what are we talking about, Israel? This is your baby.
This is one. I can't talk apparently. No, today we're going to be talking about veterans in pop culture, but not actual actors who become veterans who become actors and play characters, but there are characters within movies that they themselves, the character is a veteran of some war, they used to be, and now what adventures?
Now they're nobodies.
Does life have in store
with PTSD and anger issues and alcoholic tendencies,
and insane and drug addicts? And no, today we're going to be talking about characters in pop culture who are veterans. And the things that life throws at them, maybe in some of these examples, like how their military training benefits them, or maybe doesn't benefit them,
how it absolutely curses them.
Yeah, or it curses them. Their past experiences have either helped or hurt them in the current story that's being told.
And their pride in their service literally means nothing to anybody, but they have to let you know.
Yeah, they gotta let you know.
Absolutely.
Sometimes when a character is a veteran in a movie, it's just so they can. It's like a blanket statement so that they can pretty much make them good at whatever they want them to be good at. Mm-hmm. Like they say, don't worry about him. He's ex special forces, or don't worry about her. She's an ex ranger. That would never happen, but
it's happened.
Oh, really?
Yeah, man. There's a woman in Ranger Regiment right now.
Ranger school, so.
But there's a woman in also Special Forces right now too. So.
What? I must investigate. But anyway, so yeah, or sometimes it's the other way. Where they say that they're a veteran just so they can give them any number of mental problems or drug addictions.
Yeah, or something really negative. Like, he's a veteran and, he killed his wife and he's crazy, man.
Like, oh, well, that makes sense because he's a veteran,
Yeah.
Now, that just so we can be even-handed and stuff. That is not to say that, hey, people come back and they got problems, and I don't want to take that lightly and stuff. But it does seem to be almost kind of like a trope these days where if you want to give them some sort of like immediate supposed depth to their character. It's like, well, should we make him a veteran? You know, like
that's a fallacy of composition, man. And what that means, you ever heard of the fallacy of composition?
You sounded so intelligent just now.
I actually just learned it in college.
Really?
Yeah, the other day. I've used it 3 times since because it actually happens a lot.
So, you better use that degree, man. You're paying enough for it. Yeah. Or I guess I should
fallacy
say...
of composition is basically you group an entire group together based off the actions of one individual or your anecdotal evidence. So like say I see a Lexus driver driving terribly on the highway, driving super fast and like cutting people off, and then I go, man, all Lexus drivers are fucking assholes. Man, fallacy of composition. It's just based off my anecdotal evidence. It isn't actually true. So it's like saying, that veteran is a crazy loon with PTSD. All veterans are crazy loons with PTSD. Fallacy of composition.
Right. And that's not true.
It's not true. I'm just a little crazy.
I'm just a little crazy. I just have a little bit of a drug addiction.
Just sad. Or I use racial slurs because I was in the Korean War.
That's right. Let's jump in.
Let's just dive in on that.
Now you're getting me excited. Yeah. So the first one, 2008, Gran Torino, starring Clint Eastwood.
That movie is amazing.
Walt Kowalski. A Korean War veteran, which you don't... It's funny because we talked about the Korean War a little bit. You don't see a lot of Korean War veterans, or it's not talked about in pop culture much these days, but
there's so much that happened and it's sad.
Yeah, man. It was 3 years, man. We'll have to have a special episode sometime. But Korean War veteran, total racist. But amazing character like journey that he has. He starts off, his wife has just passed away, right?
Yeah, and he's just got his dog, and every day he just drinks beers on his porch.
He works on his Gran Torino, which is his prized car, prized possession, and then the Hmong people, which is like an ethnic group kind of in Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam area. They move in next door. Of course, he hates that, He's
like, God damn. Can I say it? Is that a racial slur?
Yes, you can say it because you're not saying it. You're saying what he's saying, and you're saying that it's bad because we know that it's bad.
Anyways, but we'll say it when it becomes appropriate.
Well, yeah, but I mean, one of the kids, the young kid tries to steal it.
Yeah, so he tries to steal the Gran Torino because he's actually peer pressured into. He's peer pressured into it, and like he's in the garage. He gets left by his bad group of friends, and Walt busts in with his freaking M1 Garand. And he's like, I used to stack gooks like you so fucking high. And I'm like, oh my God, dude.
But then over the course of the movie, like he realizes that the kid's like in a bad element.
Yeah.
He just needs
mentoring.
Yeah.
And then he ends up, in order to pay off his pretty much for what he did, his family puts him to work for Walt, and he just kind of becomes like his little his protege, if you will, and he ends up teaching him because he doesn't have a wife anymore because she died, and he's dying of.
Oh, is he dying?
Remember, he starts coughing and he coughs up blood into. So he's dying, obviously, of some illness, and he just ends up putting all his effort into helping this kid, and that becomes his kind of like purpose at the end of his life.
Yeah,
and
then there was
Call me Spider, okay, Huang.
Dude. Oh, that's so good, man. But I mean, he, at the end, like spoilers, the movie's been out for a lot of time.
Yeah,
but he knows that he goes to confront these
gangbangers that are peer pressuring the kid and causing harm to the family that he's grown to love.
Clint Eastwood, in the course of his career, has done a good job of playing off of his tough guy persona that he had kind of earlier in his career, like the old spaghetti western days and stuff like that, because he really has made a career out of being that kind of tough guy. But the movies like this and then like Unforgiven and stuff, he plays against that perception, and that's what he does. He goes to these gangbangers and they all think he's a tough guy. They think he's got a gun, and they're all pointing their guns and everybody's like filming it and stuff like that, and he pulls it out and they shoot him. And he's just got his lighter in his hand.
Yeah, it's just a lighter, and they all light it. So he sacrificed himself in order to put all these people in prison for life, so they'd leave the family alone.
Yeah.
One of my favorite scenes is in that movie because he's like, you said he's inherently racist, but like he doesn't realize he's racist at all.
Yeah, he's from a previous generation.
It's like, when you encounter a really old generation now, like a boomer,
yeah,
and they say, or you're like grandma, and grandma says something super racist, and you're just like, damn, grandma. And she's like, what? It was normal when I was growing up.
Right, exactly.
And he's like at the dinner party. They invite him over for the dinner party, and he's like eating all their food, and he's like, wow, this gook food's really good, huh?
Because he's just been saying that.
Yeah,
his
just
whole
straight
life,
to their face, and they're like phased by it. They're just doing whatever. It's so fun. That movie's it becomes a classic, especially when he's like the daughter is like being harassed by those guys, and he gets out, and he actually pulls out like his service 1911, and he just like. Or the scene where he has like his fingers and he's like pretending to shoot the guys, like with his eyes closed.
As they're
he's
walking
like,
by. That's and I think this is a good example of I think a positive portrayal of a veteran in a movie, because you get to see his kind of life and why he thinks the way he does, but then he also kind of has a heart change and stuff like that. Even though he's never going to not be a product of like kind of his generation, you know, which doesn't make it's not bad or good. It's just different, you know.
And he lacked exposure to different culture. Yeah, exactly. He was just used to, classic American, go drink beers on the porch until you're really tired, and you do it again the next day with your dog.
Yeah,
and he got that exposure. Kind of thing, exactly. So that's a great. I'm glad you put that in there, man. If you haven't seen Gran Torino, go watch it. It's one of the classics. This one, I'll talk about this one. The next one is good because I was like I just bought a shirt for this specific movie, and I was really excited about it. I even sent you guys a picture. And Walter Sobchak, right?
Yeah.
And he is from The Big Lebowski, 1998, and he is the negative portrayal of what a veteran is. Like, he's always... It doesn't matter where he is. He always mentions that he was in Vietnam, even if it doesn't apply to anything. And he's just like, what does it have to do with anything, man?
Yeah.
He's like, I was in Vietnam.
I was a knob.
The dude's like, what the fuck does that have to do with anything, man?
Yep. Yeah, played by John Goodman, one of his most iconic characters.
It is. It's so good. When he's in and he always says, my buddies died face down in the mud.
Yeah, my buddies didn't die face down in the mud, so you could, I don't know.
Yeah, he uses that line at least like 3 times in the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And then he kind of makes it up for it in the end when he's fighting the German guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, when he's just like, dude, hold my ball.
Yep.
And he's like, it's okay, man. You got medevac coming in right now. When the guy gets shot in the background. But he's the ultimate.
Well, he has a heart. Doesn't Donnie have a heart attack?
Yeah, he has a heart attack right there. He's not shot. Yeah, he has a heart attack. And he's like, chopper's coming right out, dude. That's a great character. What do you like about him, man? What do you hate about him?
Well, I mean, I've said this before, like, you can tell somebody's doing a good job, like acting, or the writing's really good when you say to yourself, like, man, I know people like this. It's not that, like that he's like the fact that he's a Vietnam veteran or whatever. It's the fact that he makes a big deal out of it, and he takes every opportunity to say that he was a veteran.
It's like, thank me for my service.
Yeah. Just kind of like always putting it in there, like, I'm proud of my service, but like, you got to keep moving forward, like keep living your life and stuff. Don't like just like
don't revert back. Don't let that be your identity for the rest of your life.
Maybe it's the attitude that he has.
Yeah,
it's this kind of like it's like a puffing up his chest kind of thing, like being arrogant about it, like Vietnam veteran, man, thank you for your service. That's awesome, dude. You know what you did, but he makes it into like a jerky kind of thing.
Yeah, he's like, I know it was awesome.
Yeah. He's like, and he always talking about his bud. He's dying face down.
Yeah, he's like, it's like keep that to yourself, man. Yeah, those are your ghosts, not mine. And then I love the part when he just pulls out his pistol in the bowling alley when he's like, mark it down at 0.
Mark it 0. Yeah.
Mark it 0.
Yeah. Like, and he makes like such a, he just freaks out. It's
over
bowling.
Over
a bowling score.
I do. He's not the only character I love in that movie. Who's the other guy, Jose? Or Jesus.
Jesus. You don't mess with the Jesus.
Don't mess with the Jesus. That guy is so funny. He's like, Jesus. He's like, pretty sure that guy's a registered sex offender.
That dude had his own movie, right? That character. Did you hear
Jesus
about that?
Has his own movie?
Yeah. I don't know. I forget what it's called. It's like bowling with the Jesus or something.
My God.
I didn't watch it because it looks absolutely horrible.
It looks pretty bad.
But they take that character and he has John.
I like that actor though.
John Turturro.
Yeah, who plays Jesus.
He's done some pretty good characters.
Yeah, he has. I do like him in Transformers. He's funny. The rail gun. How do you know about that? I know about it. It's not top secret.
Transformers. That's right.
Transformers. Like, activate the rail gun.
Yep.
He's just on the phone with like a Navy general, just on the cell phone. He's like, what? But anyways, yeah, no, Walter Sobchak is a really good portrayal of a terrible veteran, who everybody knows people like that. Where it's like, shut up, man.
He's a good portrayal of just a jerk.
Yeah, he is a
veteran.
Yeah, he's a big jerk, but he means well. It's his way or the highway, because he was in Vietnam, so he knows what to do. So
and the thing about his character, I think, is that everybody loves, we all love loyalty. Like, he is loyal to the dude and Donnie, but he's kind of a immature about it,
Extremely.
Like he's prone to outbursts and stuff like that. But at the end, you see that he is very loyal. Yeah. And then when they do spreading the ashes and
he gets it all goes over the dude.
Dude goes off on him. He's like, I'm sorry, dude. Hey, come on, let's go bowling.
Let's go bowling, man.
He tries to hug him. He's like, get off of me.
Let's go bowling.
Yeah.
Dude, good character. He means well, but he's just terrible.
So the next one is Malcolm Mal Reynolds.
You got to talk about this one because I've never seen Firefly.
Oh, Firefly? Well, there's not much to see. It only had one season. It got canceled. But for some reason, there's this fandom out there. They love Firefly, But yeah, Mal he's the captain of the Serenity. And they made a movie which I thought was amazing called Serenity. But he's the captain of the ship. He's got a crew here, and he fought during the Unification Wars, which was this, it was basically between the independent kind of systems and then what is it? I think it was the Alliance or something like that. And then so that's kind of his background, and why he turned kind of into an independent kind of rogue captain character. He's been jaded by his experiences because in the Battle of Serenity Valley, he saw they were cut off and they were getting moved in on, they were getting overwhelmed and overrun, and the support ships left. They all left him behind and stuff. And he was one of the only people to survive, along with I forget what's her name, but she was his second in command there. She's on the ship too, but no, just really, it's one of those instances, I think, of where his experiences in the war are what kind of give him his core, the core of his character, and why he makes the decisions that he does. He doesn't he doesn't have a lot of close relationships, he's been jaded by, he lives on the outskirts of society because he doesn't want to have anything to do with the main kind of government, the central government. So he always lives on the outskirts, and he's kind of a pirate, in some instances. He's a smuggler, kind of a Han Solo type. But it makes sense that, you look at his background and what he's been through, and it makes sense that he would react that way and end up becoming this kind of roguish type character that, kind of lives distant, from other people and stuff like that, So, no, just an honorable mention, for him, because I know the show for me personally, I can see why it got canceled because it had some good episodes, but most of the episodes were it was a little hard to get through. The movie Serenity was amazing. I thought they did a great job with that, but the show itself,
I've seen a little bit of Firefly, but I've never actually gotten into it. I mean, it's sci-fi, right?
Yeah, sci-fi. It's futuristic kind of world or universe. It's interesting what He Who Shall Not Be Named, Joss Whedon, he did this whole thing where he kind of it was a Western essentially. The show was a Western, but it was in space. And then he kind of combined kind of Western culture with Chinese culture. Everyone speaks a little bit of Chinese. It's really interesting how because he had this vision in his mind that in the future of what would be an ideal future, a positive future. Well, you look at right now and look at international relations are not very good between the West and China and stuff like that. So he's like, well, what if we came together? What if everything kind of turned out all right? So that was kind of an interesting kind of thing that he put into the world of the Fireflies.
Well, that's a good one, man. Yeah. I think that deserves some light on it as far as just that character just goes and he's just on his own, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he's he has these captains of ship, but he doesn't have very many close relationships.
Yeah. He's just okay. It's kind of like he knows they're temporary, but potentially. So maybe just the curse of the veteran, right? It's you don't establish a lot of relationships because they could potentially be temporary, and that's a complete curse because you're not in your service anymore.
Right.
So
you can have those relationships.
Exactly. You can have them. It's perfectly okay. It's fine to open up to people, even if you don't think they have your back in a firefight. You can open up, man.
Yeah, man.
Show some vulnerability. It's okay.
It's all right.
Don't be tough anymore.
Take a chance at love.
It's okay. Live, laugh, love. Live your life.
Pray, love.
Eat, pray, love, laugh, or don't pray. Worship your false gods. What? Yeah. But I actually, this next one, that one pumped me up because I'm a huge fan of this movie. And this movie has actually Ranger lineage.
Really?
This character is based off of okay. Anyways, The Patriot, Mel Gibson.
2000, yeah. Mel Gibson's The Patriot from 2000. He plays Benjamin Martin is the character's
Benjamin Martin, this character is actually based off of Francis Marion.
Oh, okay.
Who was a part of the French and Indian War. He was who fought, and he was nicknamed the Swamp Fox because he basically created guerrilla warfare. And his lineage is traced back to 75th Ranger Regiment. In our history books, it's like Francis Marion is mentioned by name. The Swamp Fox is part of our that's where we got guerrilla warfare from, because it used to be revolutionaries would stand in line. In that movie when they're all form up, get in formation.
It was all very gentlemanly. It was all very English, kind of proper. We do this in a certain way. This is how we conduct ourselves in war.
Exactly.
And he was running around the swamp.
Yeah, he's literally just placing weapons in different covered positions, and he would the first ambush after they kill part of his family.
Yeah, he brings his two sons.
Yeah, he
up.
brings his two sons with all the rifles, and he sets them up in these covered positions and shooting. Because back then muskets, you had one round, and it took you however long, to
75 minutes.
Yeah, 75 minutes to load your blunderbuss, and it's you gotta fucking put the black powder, and then you gotta put the wattage, the balling, and you gotta stuff it down, and you gotta set your hammer, and you gotta put there's so much stuff back in there.
Book, yeah.
So much for those refs. So he sets up multiple different positions with multiple rifles, and they ambush this British little caravan and take them all out just with three guys. And then he finishes the last guy off with his hatchet. Yeah. And it's dude, that movie is badass because just because I also have a personal connection to this movie just because it's Ranger history. So Francis Marion was the character. If you want to look into him, he was awesome. But yeah, the entire movie's accurate. They lived in the swamps. They created these guerrilla warfare parties to, fight the British, and they were obviously getting them with underwhelming odds and killing and the British were how the hell are these guys doing it? And it was all because of guerrilla warfare tactics, not standing in formation and just, fighting from cover, having sniper little bird's nests in trees and
little harassing actions. And
exactly.
Stuff like that.
Yeah. Just fucking shoot and run. Just kind of dude, that movie's awesome, I think. And not to mention, even though it's weird because those conflicts were kind of back to back in those revolutionary eras,
French and Indian War and then the Independence War.
Yeah. So it's a lot of the guys that fought were veterans, so they had
previous experience. Maybe they might have had their weapons still.
Yeah.
They knew the territory.
Exactly, that was big. You're fighting in your backyard,
right?
Yeah, so you knew exactly where to fight and all the best places to fight. But Mel Gibson's character Benjamin Martin is just a very inspiring figure. He's he is the Patriot, man.
Right. He's OG, like the soul of America kind of thing.
Exactly. In the it's funny because I mentioned that scene where he finishes off with his hatchet because it's part of the rules of ranging. You ever heard of those?
No.
Oh man, these are I'm gonna give you a ranger fucking lesson right now.
I love the ranger lessons.
So there's specific. Robert Rogers 28 rules of ranging. So this was created during the French and Indian War. It's basically the rules you lived by. And let me
give me the highlights.
For example, it's rule number 1. Rule number: all rangers are subject to the rules. This is for the ranger back then because they were called just rangers because the ranging was essentially
going out.
Long patrols.
Okay.
They would range for miles and miles.
Yeah.
But here's one. For example, if you if you oblige the enemy to retreat, be careful in your pursuit of them to keep out your flanking parties and prevent them from gaining eminences or rising grounds. In the case, they would perhaps be able to rally and repulse their turn.
Dude, I love the old English language.
Yeah, dude, hold on. I'm trying to find this one that specifically has to do with a hatchet. It's pretty revolutionary. But give me your opinion on that while I find what I'm looking for.
Well, I love so like we're talking about, he is a veteran of a former war who's engaging in new war. So, like we were talking about, like he obviously would have the previous experience. He might be a little rusty depending on how long ago the war conflict was. The character himself is reluctant. He actually is against going to war for independence. And early in the movie, you see he goes to a meeting and he's like, no, we shouldn't do this. We know what conflict will cause. It's going to destroy our lands or our families and stuff. And then eventually, because of the evil British soldiers, we love our British friends, but they are portrayed, in a very harsh and gruesome way. But, he kills one of his sons. And he burns his house down, and they were trying to treat like American and British soldiers, and they go around, they kill all the American soldiers and stuff like that, and so it just kind of forces him into action, and he becomes the patriot.
The revolution has begun.
Yes, the revolution will be televised.
Yeah, so you have Rogers' 28 rules of ranging, and then you also had his standing order. So the reason I couldn't find it is because it was in the standing orders, and there's 19 standing orders, which is like your first one. I'm pretty sure it's like don't forget nothing.
Did you miss your deadline to renew your Medicaid coverage? You can still send your completed annual review form to Healthy Connections Medicaid. You may be assigned to another health plan, but you can ask to come back to First Choice within 60 days of renewed Medicaid eligibility. It's your family. It's your choice. First Choice is the right choice. Renew and choose us. Visit selecthealthofsc.com/renew to learn more.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, so don't forget nothing. That's rule number 1 of the standing order. So the last rule is let the enemy come till he's almost close enough to touch. Then let him have it and jump out and finish him with your hatchet. That's literally in the standing orders as like what awesome. You should do, dude. And it's like, don't stand up when the enemy's coming against you. Kneel down, lie down, hide behind a tree.
Yes, yeah. And you got to understand, like, it's interesting to hear these things, and maybe they seem like old hat to us. Like, of course, we've even taught these things, but there was a time when there were certain rules of war that everybody was expected to follow.
Exactly.
And to go against these was like totally dishonorable. It wasn't gentlemanly. Maybe it wasn't considered civilized. Like, this is something that the savages use.
Yeah.
These dishonorable tactics. So,
well, do you remember why we'd wake up at nautical twilight?
Because that's right when the Indians would attack.
Rule number 15. Or standing order 15, don't sleep beyond dawn. Dawn's when the French and the Indians attack. Literally verbatim.
The French. I gotta watch out for the French now.
The French, dude. Dude. It's like, don't ever march the same way home. Take a different route so you won't be ambushed. Like, this is like,
there you go.
Dude, this is like, the standing orders are literally Ranger history.
That's great. That's really cool,
man.
And there's, I guarantee you there's some stuff in there that Green Berets have definitely adopted.
The standing orders have become, a doctrine.
Yeah. We have
everything.
The symbol, the patch for Special Forces has an arrowhead within it, because it's in honor of Native Americans who would fight in an unconventional way.
Exactly. So. And the lightning bolt from the DUI stands for speed and aggressiveness. If you want to get into it. But okay, let's stray from the path of because before I get caught in a rabbit hole just talking about all Robert Rogers standing orders.
That's what people want to hear, man. I love the Ranger history.
It's good, man. I mean, that's what it all came down to. Because Special Forces started in Vietnam, right?
Special Forces really took the current form that they took. They really kind of cut their teeth and became like what they are today in Vietnam. That was like because they started getting developed in the 50s, and then in the 60s and stuff. That was when.
Yeah, so
you
the
kind of saw
60s.
Really doing their thing.
Yeah, and like the lineage of the Ranger Regiment literally goes all the way back to like the Revolutionary War. Yeah. So that's like, that's badass, man. But anyways, I'm biased.
Somebody's proud to be a Ranger.
I'm biased, but okay. Maybe one from Canada?
Yeah. I didn't know this, actually. I was doing my research and I might have known it before, but Wolverine is Canadian. And he is a veteran of 2 wars.
2 wars.
World War I and World War II.
Yeah.
In the comic lore. I don't know.
Well, it makes sense because like when you like watched the Wolverine that they butchered.
The horrible Wolverine Origins, X-Men Origins.
Where they butchered Deadpool. He in the beginning he's like a part of the military unit.
Yeah,
right?
he
and
is.
That's where he meets Sabretooth, and that's where
they're brothers. Yeah.
Brother.
But Wolverine. You got to give the Canadians some love, you know.
Yeah. One of my favorite professional arm wrestlers is Canadian military.
Oh, okay.
Time out. You said one of your favorite professional arm wrestlers, implying that you have multiple favorite professional arm wrestlers, meaning that you're really into professional arm wrestling.
Yeah, I do think professional arm wrestling is one of the coolest sports ever.
Which, of course, means you're a giant fan of the 80s movie
Over the Top.
Yes!
Yes, baby.
Meet me halfway across the sky.
Of course, that's one of... What a life.
Sorry, I just thought that was a really cool fun fact about you that I have not known up until now.
Arm wrestling is all about technique. That's the one thing I did not realize. Like, there's videos of, like, the world's strongest man, like, Eddie Hall and, like, the Mountain, like, arm wrestling some professional guys, and they get their shit wrecked, even though they can deadlift, you know, a ton.
Okay.
And it's all about technique. It's crazy. And you know, these dudes freaking, I'll tell you. Look, so there's actually a professional arm wrestling league.
Oh my gosh, we're doing this.
It's awesome. It's
let's just make sure this is a brief detour because we are on the clock.
I mean, I'm sure Wolverine knows how to arm wrestle. You know, he's got the adamantium skeleton. He'd probably be really good at it.
That comes later though.
Yeah.
Really, his mutant power is just his healing factor.
Right. His healing factor is what keeps him young, which gives him the opportunity to fight in all these wars. And then, he goes over to, I mean, in the comic books and in the Wolverine movie, you know, he's in Japan. He lives there for a long time. He has a family and stuff. And some of the mythology, you know, some of the lore, he has a kid and stuff like that. So he gets around, man. I love it. That would be one of the advantages of having a healing factor and living for 100 or so years, 200 years, is that you travel around, get around a lot.
Yeah, so side note, my favorite arm wrestler, his name is Devin Larratt. He's ex-Canadian Armed Forces, and he's world champion, the only person to do world champion in both arms.
Oh, yeah. I guess you would have like a competing arm, a competition arm.
Yeah, but these guys are just all truckers, pretty much.
This is my good arm. This is my better arm.
Yeah, it's called the WAL, the World Arm Wrestling League. You should watch it if you love just, you know, big four-armed men just screaming at each other.
Love it.
It's the most shit-talking I've ever seen. Side note to the side note. One sport that I really want to go see is darts. You ever seen a
both
dart
involving
throwing?
Arms. You got to think for arms, Cam.
Yeah, no, but I want to go just because they put like beer tables down and like the fans get so rowdy. It's like, you ever watch a baseball game? It's kind of boring just going there. People just drink beer and they're just there. But like darts, you're there.
You're in it. You're right next to the action. You can feel the wind of the dart as it passes by your face.
No, these people are crazy people. But anyways,
I love
moving
it,
back on. All right, Wolverine,
man. Yeah.
Vet.
Yeah, I mean, this would be one of those cases where it's like he's seen so much that you can kind of understand he's a bit embittered by life. You know, he's seen so much human conflict, you know, and he's a loner. You know, that's kind of my nature, is like, you know, that's kind of one of the main aspects of his character. And you can kind of understand, you know, if you live through enough wars, then you're kind of like, man, people suck, you know?
Yeah, like people are garbage. Yeah, I don't want to be around these people.
Yeah, but
and
then
it's interesting how, because, I mean, technically you got to correct me if I'm wrong. So how did he receive the original bone claws? Was that a mutation?
I think he's always been a
mutant.
He's always been a mutant, the healing factor, but I think he has always had the bone claws. The adamantium skeleton just made them adamantium, I think.
Oh, okay. So they inserted that into his skeleton.
Yeah.
Because I never really saw the claws, like the bone. Yeah, they're stabby, but they're not cutty.
No, yeah, they're very stabby. You know, they don't have a lot of like serrations to them.
No, they're just stab. You just stab, doing a lot of stabbing.
Yeah, let's just stabby.
But no cut.
Stab man.
You can't cut with with the bone.
The bones. It's only like a poke.
It's a poke.
Yeah.
That was disappointing. So I'm glad he got that adamantium inside of him. I also wondered, because the whole Deadpool. You know how we had the Deadpool? How do you kill Deadpool argument?
No,
Ant-Man up the butt.
Oh yeah, Ant-Man up the butt, and then he
he expands,
enlarges himself.
I feel it's the same way for Wolverine.
Yeah, like how do you? Well, I mean, I forget how they do it in the comic books, but eventually someone, I think Magneto takes it out of him. Like he uses power because he can manipulate metal. He rips all that material out of him, and he's totally like in a, he's totally like hurt for a long time because his healing factor, even that. It takes a long time to come back from, and that's when you kind of see the bone claws and stuff like that. In the comics, at least. In the movie, he has them, and then when he goes to the experimentation stuff, they become metal, and CGI. And horrible looking.
Oh, man.
But anyway, Wolverine, nice mention.
Good vet. Awesome
good vet. Good vet, yeah.
Maybe just do 3 quick honorable mentions.
Okay.
Or one long one and an honorable mention.
Let's do two quick ones, and then I want to talk about Kratos.
We got about 5 minutes before I want to get into the game.
Okay.
So just talk about Kratos, and then we'll do the honorable mentions.
Okay, cool. All right. Kratos. God of War. Yes, a military veteran. You dare doubt my knowledge of the Kratos? No, the God of War series, Kratos, he was a Spartan captain. Way back, like the games kind of explore his mythology, his
back
lore
before
and
the
stuff.
VA existed.
That's right. Yeah, it was the SA, the Spartan
Association, and they still fucked them on benefits.
They really, their whole society fell out, so they didn't have any benefits to give them. But he was a Spartan captain. He was a warrior, the Spartan army and stuff, and then he starts getting in with the gods and doing all sorts of crazy stuff, and then they betray him, and he gets vengeance on them and stuff like that.
So is he a demigod, or what's the deal? Because I love Greek mythology.
Yeah, I mean,
I love arm wrestling, and I love Greek mythology.
I think what it's revealed eventually through the course of all the books or all the games and stuff like that is that he actually is a son of Zeus, I think. But he definitely, in the games, he becomes the god of war when he kills Ares. So he does become a god,
Yes.
And so at the point of the reboot series or the reboot game that came out for the PlayStation, where he's an old man, he's got the old dad bod, the strong dad bod with Atreus. But yeah, like he definitely still has those powers and stuff like that. Because he ends up killing the entire pantheon of Greek gods. He just kills them all, But yeah, he started off as a humble Spartan warrior.
Spartan? Wrestling naked with his brother and...
Yeah, in the agoge. Yes. Getting all oily.
Practicing his sleeper holds with a full erection.
It's the other side of Kratos.
The other side of Kratos.
We never do see his wife,
No, you never see his wife.
Well, Kratos in Greek means full erection.
Yeah.
It does. That is a fact. That is a fact.
The Kratos of Kratos.
Yeah, the great Kratos.
I maybe it's just because I'm a video game fan. I wanted to work.
I mean, I've never played the God of War series, even though I have had a PS4 for who knows how long now. It actually just sits in my storage.
You got to play God of War, man. The great thing about the new series is that in the old games, he was just this vengeful, wrathful, uncaring, closed off, mean-spirited dude. Like, he was the main character, but he wasn't a good guy.
Yeah, no. He's a dick.
Yeah, but in the new series, in the new game, he actually is trying to leave his past behind him, and teach his son different ways of doing things, to be wise and not to rush in and to use your head and don't be like I was, basically, So in that way, his character is working for redemption, and it's really good. So it's a story. The new game is definitely a father and son story, because the whole game is just about their relationship, and stuff. And then I don't think that they do, I think they take liberties with both the Greek and the Norse mythology and stuff, because Baldur is not supposed to be like a bad person, he's like a Christ-like figure, I think, in Norse mythology, if I'm remembering rightly. You guys can tell us in the comment section. But
any of you pagans out there,
all you pagans, all you what is it, marauder pagans in the army. Religion. But anyway, Kratos, former Spartan captain, great veteran.
Good vet. So now for some honorable mentions.
Just
before
quick.
We transition to our game. Forrest Gump, baby.
Vietnam veteran,
Typical Vietnam veteran. Gets out of the service, grows a giant beard, and just runs everywhere.
And Lieutenant Dan, he grows that beard for a while too.
Yeah, they all grow. I don't know what. I think it's because you you deprive someone of something for so long that they just have to do it, even if
it's all you keep them in that left, right, left, that could restricted environment. That when they get out, they're like, I'm free.
Yeah, I'm free. I can do whatever. I'm just gonna grow my hair out and grow my beard as long as I can because they wouldn't let me.
I like a beard. I think it's fine, but I've never grown a beard my entire life. So I feel like I'm always just like one bad day away from just shaving it all off, so.
It's easy. The power is all in your hands, I got to grow a beard on my deployment to Syria and like, it's fun. It's fun, then
you look like every Mediterranean ethnicity around that area.
I could infiltrate the system over there. I look very Middle Eastern. It's bad. Mm-hmm. But I didn't upkeep my beard. That's one thing. I just let it grow without like no neck shaving or anything, or it's like mustache waxing or whatnot. But it kind of got in the way of like putting on a helmet. Like putting on my chin strap was not comfortable.
Oh, interesting.
That's the one thing. It's just, it looks cool. Yeah. But is it functional? Yeah, it stops bullets, but...
Wait, what?
Yeah. But anyways... You got one honorable mention?
Yeah, one more honorable mention just because I love the game series, but Booker DeWitt from BioShock Infinite. The main character. He's the one character in the BioShock series that actually has a voice and a background and opinions and stuff. The other guys are just nameless, faceless,
Nameless, faceless.
But he was in the 7th Cavalry Regiment. He did not do good things in the military. His past is that he basically massacred Native American Indians at Wounded Knee. That was like his... And he feels that's kind of feeds into his choices and his mindset later on in the game because he feels guilty, and then he turns to drinking, gets in debt. He ends up, in the course of the game. I actually won't say too much more after this because if you've never played BioShock Infinite, there's a lot of story stuff. There's twists and turns because it deals with like alternate realities and stuff. But anyway, his story is one of it's the classic redemption story. He's trying to redeem himself and make up and atone for the sins of his past. So.
Very cool, man. Yeah. I'm glad you threw that because I had no idea. Very cool. Well,
now it's time for my game. That was a great game that you had. Very well done. Very enjoyable. Very entertaining. I hope this will be, if only half as entertaining, will be very satisfying. But
okay, well, I'm ready.
This game is called Dance Move or Finisher Move, or if you will, Fatality or dance move. I messed up that second. Anyway, so I'm going to name something. All right? I'm going to name a move.
A move.
You have to tell me if it's a dance move, like a break dance move, or a finisher, a fatality from Mortal Kombat 11. I just wrote Mortal Kombat 11.
Specifically Mortal Kombat 11.
Yeah, specifically Mortal Kombat 11. Now, there's a lot of finishers out there in fighting games, but I wanted to keep it to one franchise, specifically the latest iteration.
Okay.
As it stands right now.
Okay.
So dance move or
dance
fatality?
Move or fatality?
So let's do 2 warm-ups real quick.
Okay.
And then we'll kind of just go right through them. So first one, the flare.
The flare is a dance move, my friend.
Move. All right.
Yes.
Okay.
I know.
You would know because you used to.
I would know. I used to be a dancer.
Yeah, that's right.
I used to be a little fairy boy.
No, you were like a b-boy.
Yeah, I was a b-boy.
Hopping and bopping.
Yes. So the flare is a power move. Yes, I know exactly what it is.
It's kind of your legs like swinging around in a circle, bouncing on your hands.
Exactly. Cool. If you ever played, what's that GameCube snowboarding game back in the day?
Oh, wait. Yeah. What is it like?
SSX Tricky?
Yeah, SSX Tricky.
SSX Tricky. Flares are what that breaks dancer dude does on the snowboard.
All right, cool, man. Nice. Now, one more warm up. The jackhammer.
The jackhammer.
Is it
you can call any. Yeah, I'm gonna go with a finisher just because I don't recall that dance move.
Yeah. Wrong. It's a dance move.
That's a really?
Yeah, I looked it up.
Oh, you looked it up? Okay. Obviously, Wikipedia.
That's right. There's a bunch of dance moves.
What's a dance moves list?
All right. Well, let's get into it.
I'm ready.
Ready? Okay. The dead freeze.
The dead freeze? That has to be like Sub-Zero or something. That I've never heard. Be like, hey, do that dead freeze, man. Never heard someone say that. So I'm going to go with Mortal Kombat 11, specifically Sub-Zero.
Wrong. It's a dance move.
That's a dance move?
Yeah. I looked it up.
Okay, you looked it up. So
I Googled it.
You Googled it? Can you demonstrate it?
No.
Okay.
Wait, yeah, I can. So, ready?
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
nice. That was good.
Yeah.
Because there is freezes.
Okay. But maybe the dead freeze is like a really hardcore.
Super hardcore. Never heard of it. Obviously, it wasn't that good.
All right. Okay. Second one. Number 2. The ice sculpture.
Ice sculpture? Okay, I'm gonna stick with my guns here and say that's a fatality and say Mortal Kombat 11.
That is correct.
Okay,
yes, that is Mortal Kombat finish. But that's actually there's a female character named Frost, and that's one of her. I think she might. I'm not sure about the lore, but she might be a descendant of like Sub-Zero. You know.
I see.
All right, number 3. Head lantern.
Head lantern.
Yes, the head lantern.
I'm assuming I'm going to still stick with Mortal Kombat 11 and just because I imagine them ripping someone's head off and like putting an ember in their mouth and like using their head as a lantern.
You're disgusting. Actually, you're correct.
Okay, nice.
The Collector is the character's name, and he does, the head lantern, just take the head off,
And use it as a lantern.
Yep.
That's good. Okay.
Number 4.
Feeling good.
The split decision.
Split decision? I'm gonna go with a dance move. Dance move because my reasoning because I've been on a really good streak so far with Mortal Kombat moves, and
now you're just playing the odds.
Now I'm playing the odds, and I could see like a nice little split, like a banana split, or like doing something.
All right,
so I'm gonna go with dance move.
You're wrong.
What?
It is a finisher. It's a fatality from Noob Saibot.
Noob Saibot. The split decision.
Yeah, it splits him in half. It's really disgusting.
Okay. I am guilty of just like going when I'm like scrolling on Facebook and like I come across a Mortal Kombat only fatality list and just watching the entire 16 minutes of it.
I can't, man. This was so hard for me to do because I wanted to watch a couple of these just so I knew I got it right. It is so graphic, man. It's so
good.
Disgusting,
it's gnarly.
Yeah, they get all the anatomy just right. Oh, it's gross. Anyway, number 5. The suicide corkscrew.
Suicide corkscrew, that is a dance move.
You are correct.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, that's
nice.
No, that's a coin drop, but a corkscrew. I forgot what a suicide is. I think it's when you're suicide. And for some reason, no, those are back-to-backs. I can't explain it. I know what it is.
Hey, you know what? You don't know what it is. You just know the sound it makes when it impresses the audience.
When it makes everyone go, whoa!
All right, next one. Peeling back.
I'm going to go with a dance move on that one, too. Actually, I'm going to stick with my guns and just say dance move as well.
You are wrong.
Am I wrong?
It is a finisher, a fatality by Garrus. He like throws him against like a sand. He's like sand is like his thing. He throws him against sand wall, and then he peels the front of their body from the back of their body. It's disgusting.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
It's totally gross. All right, next one. We're getting there. We got a couple left. Taisuke Critical. What the hell? There's those Japanese b-boys come up with some. That has to be like, okay, I'm gonna go with a dance move because that sounds I don't think Taisuke's a character in Mortal Kombat, so I'm gonna go with dance move. Correct. It's I watched it. It's kind of like you got both hands on the floor and you twist your body and you jump around 360 and land on your hands again. So you spin it around like that.
Oh, very interesting.
Yeah, it's a crazy power move.
Power move. We'll get the crazy audience going.
Two more. I love these ones. The party pooper.
The party pooper. Oh, that's a hard one because like you can be like, oh, that guy over there is doing the party pooper. Like that move sucks.
Nobody likes that move.
Yeah,
we're gonna name it the party pooper.
The party pooper. Party pooper. Party pooper. I'm gonna go with dance move.
Wrong. It is a finisher by the Joker in Mortal Kombat.
Okay.
Joker's got some sick.
He does. I've watched his compilation before. Yeah. It's good.
All right, last one. The pole dance.
The pole dance. I mean, that's a dance style. So I'm gonna go with Mortal Kombat.
You are correct. It was a fatality by Jade.
By Jade.
Jade, yeah.
Okay. See, I like my reasoning on that one.
It's good. It's good, man. Well, that's it.
That's good. I like that one. That was actually really hard.
It's funny because sometimes the naming, it's like when we did the porn versus like
the adult movie.
The adult movie.
military movie.
Yeah, military movie or adult
It's hard.
movie.
The wording sometimes the party pooper.
Very similar, yeah. The pole dance.
The pole dance. That was good, man. Very creative.
Yeah,
that's good. Good job.
Good times.
Good
times.
times.
Well, that's all the time we got, folks. I hope you had a good time. I hope that you've rethought your stereotypes about naming dance moves versus fatalities.
Mm-hmm. Don't get them confused.
Don't get them confused. You could be a deadly
could be
mistake.
A deadly, you got served, more like you got murdered.
You got sliced.
You got sliced in half.
Slizzard.
The peel back.
The peel back.
The peel back.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody. I hope you enjoyed it. We release a new podcast episode every Wednesday, so don't forget to subscribe to Pop Culture Field Manual wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. We have a YouTube channel as well. Visual episodes are there with extra content. And if you want to get a hold of us, please send us your emails, send us your questions about pop culture and the military crossovers, pcfmpodcast@gmail.com. You can go to our Instagram, PCFM Podcast. You can follow me over on twitch.tv/myhappyself. And I'm also on Instagram as well, myhappyself2, the number 2. Cam, where can people get a hold of you, man?
You can find me on my Instagram, just at Cameron C. Fath. No number, just Cameron C. Fath. Or you guys, if you want to check out my streetwear brand, Kit God, you can find us on our website at www.kitgodapparel.com or on Instagram as well under Kit God Apparel.
Until next time, cue music.
Dun, dun, dun.